Kuzongpo, you're watching Bhutan This Week with me, Tanden Finso. In this week's top stories, His Majesty the King granted Kidu to 215 individuals in Samsi last Saturday. The High Court has temporarily suspended the order issued by the Anti-Corruption Commission suspending the National Assembly Speaker and the Home and Culture Affairs Minister. And another man has been kidnapped, this time from Jimling in Sarpang. His Majesty the King granted Kidu to 215 individuals in Samsi last Saturday. Their Majesties the King and the Gulsin were in Samsi last week as a part of their tour to the southern districts.
His Majesty the King granted audience to 22 individuals from difficult background. They were granted Kidu to continue their education under the Gelpui Doses program. The recipients of His Majesty's Kidu told BBS that His Majesty assured them that he would look into their basic needs.
I
also had one dream that one day I will also be able to serve my country, and today with such inspiration I got under the enthusiasm to serve my country.
In a separate audience, His Majesty granted citizenship Kidu to 15 students from Samsi College of Education. His Majesty also met with CUPs who had submitted applications of 178 individuals from 92 households for citizenship Kidu. In the evening, His Majesty granted audience to student councillors from Samsi College of Education. Compiled for Sonamongdi, Dojdema, BBS News.
The High Court has temporarily suspended the order issued by the Anti-Corruption Commission suspending the National Assembly Speaker and the Home and Culture Affairs Minister for their involvement in the Gilpushing land case. This comes after the Office of the Attorney General filed a petition to the High Court stating that the ACC does not have the unilateral authority to issue the suspension order.
The suspension order from the Anti-Corruption Commission came after the registration of 75 cases in relation to the Gilpushing land allotment in Mongar. 3 cases were identified under criminal charges. The 2 were the Speaker and the Minister of Home and Cultural Affairs. According to the report in Quincell, ACC issued the suspension order based on the ACC's Act under Section 167. A copy of the suspension order was also forwarded to the Prime Minister last Thursday. On Friday, the Cabinet Secretary wrote to the Office of Attorney General to look at the legality aspects. After stating the case, the Office of Attorney General filed a petition to the High Court yesterday. The petition stated that the ACC does not have the unilateral authority to suspend the two. The OAG said under the ACC's Act Section 167, quoted by the ACC, it does not state who has the authority to suspend individuals. Section 167.2 of the ACC's Act states that a public servant who is charged with an offence under this Act shall be suspended with effect from the date of the charge till pending the outcome of any appeals. The petition filed by the OAG also points out procedural lapses with regard to the suspension. Section 168 of the ACC Act states that where a public servant who has been charged for or convicted of an offence under this Act should be informed of such facts to the head of the individual agency for the purpose of taking necessary disciplinary action. The OAG said this section was not considered. The Office of Attorney General said the Prime Minister was never consulted while the suspension came as an order. The BBS is trying to get in touch with the Anti-Corruption Commission. The Office of Attorney General also invoked Article 21, Section 10 of the Constitution of Bhutan, which states that the Supreme Court and the High Court may issue such declarations or orders as may be appropriate in the circumstances of each case. The OAG also appealed on the ground that the members of parliament are also governed by the National Assembly Act. According to the High Court, the case is registered with the Mongar Dzongkhag Court. However, as the Office of Attorney General has the legal jurisdiction to file the petition to the High Court to move the suspension order issued by the ACC. Accordingly, the High Court issued the temporary suspension order to study the case further. Until the High Court comes up with a decision, the Speaker and the Minister of Home and Cultural Affairs will continue to serve in their current positions. This is Pema Suki with additional information from Sarpang for BBS News.
A government circular issued yesterday says the pedestrian day will be observed from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. from March till October, and from November till the end of February, the day will be observed from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. This circular replaces all circulars and notifications issued earlier by the government on pedestrian day.
It will be a day free of vehicles except for public buses, including city buses and vehicles for emergency services like ambulances, firefighting engines and police patrol vehicles. The pedestrian day will also allow vehicles for essential services such as milk delivery van, BBS mobile satellite van and industrial consignments in border towns. Tourist vehicles and bicycles are free to move during the pedestrian day. Vehicles travelling to and from core areas to other zongkaks and vehicles with patients will be allowed to travel without any hindrance. From now on, Babisa Thimphu Expressway will be open to traffic till Changlimathang. So Changlimathang is the new additional parking area during the day. People from Changbandu can drive towards National Referral Hospital from the Tata Motors showroom junction. They are also allowed to travel towards Changankal Hakang by taking the route leading to Jaika office. And from Changankal Hakang parking, road will be open towards Mutithang BOD via shop number 7. The vehicles coming from Pamso, Junshina, Heju and Samtiling areas can drive only till Ziluka school gate. Then the traffic from Begana, Dechincholing and Taba will be closed at Dechinzam. But they can move further by using Lungtenzampa road. And in other zongkaks concerned from their offices and zongkak administrations will have to change the vegetable market day to Saturdays. Dojidama, BBS News.
A 60-year-old man was abducted from his neighbor's house at Gakiling in Sarpang last Friday. The incident took place at around 6:30 in the evening. The man is a lay monk from Hlunsi. He came to Sarpang under the resettlement program.
The man had just arrived at his neighbor's house, who is his relative, when a group of armed men forcefully entered the house and abducted the man. The victim's wife, son and his neighbor's wife and children were present at the time of the incident.
We were all seated inside, and suddenly a group of armed men barged into my house. They aimed their guns at us. I ran out screaming for help.
The wife of the victim suffered injury on her forehead and left arm while trying to fight back the armed men. She said the armed men hit her on the forehead with the butt of a gun. The woman is in Sarpang hospital at the moment and is traumatized by the incident. According to the neighbor, the victim and his wife pleaded, but the armed men did not listen. The 12-year-old son of the victim was present at the time of the incident. He said he was really scared. Sharap was the lone neighbor who came out to help. He lives below the victim's house. He was about to sleep when he heard the victim's wife cry for help.
I heard the wife shouting for help, so I came running to this point. They shone their torch and fired at me. I heard her shouting my name and saying they are taking my husband. Help me. By that time, they had already taken.
The victim's children are shocked by the incident. The abductors left behind a kukri and 4 sticks. Extortion is suspected to be the main cause for the abduction. This is the second abduction case in Sarpang within a month. Sarpang police are investigating the case. Shauri Gurung, BBS News, Gilifu.
The Divisional Forest Office in Paro is seeing an increasing number of illegal timber transactions taking place in the Dzongkhag. Last week alone, some 5 to 6 people were caught transporting illegal timber.
Following a tip-off, forestry officials in Paro caught a DCM truck loaded with 200 CFT of timber to be delivered at Thimphu last Sunday. Earlier, they also found some 700 CFT of illegally felled timber in the forest. Officials from the Divisional Forest Office says though the number of illegally timber transactions has reduced over the years, there are still some people who are into this business. The activity is carried out especially during the nights and public holidays.
The
miscreants smuggle timber through numerous ways. Since it is winter season, smugglers cover the timber with rice stalks. Some keep potato sacks on top of the timber. People also take illegal timber in light vehicles covered up with tarpaulin sheets to avoid being caught at checkpoints.
Meanwhile, the office is faced with numerous problems besides shortage of manpower.
One of the main problems we face is not having a good vehicle, as we have to go patrolling in forest. Another problem is the shortage of manpower, so we have to deploy just about 2 people in the field.
The office auctions the illegal timber seized at the government rates while the miscreants are levied penalty. Currently, the divisional office has 13 staff. They look after 6 of the 10 gyoks in Paro. Compiled for Chimidoji, Bemalhaden for BBS News.
With the onset of dry season, many parts of the country have started facing water shortage. Residents of Khamdang Gyok under Tashigang have been faced with acute water shortage for almost 2 months now.
These unwashed plates were found at the Boys and Girls Hostel of Sankarla Middle Secondary School. With the school's main water source dried up, the students have no choice but to leave things this way. The water they received from the Gyok's water source is not enough for school, which has around 700 students.
In the summer, we don't have problem regarding the water. It's during the early spring and towards the winter, we are facing the water problem. In summer, we have water supply from our own school source at Lenkar, which is around 7 kilometers away from the school. So we get enough water from there. Even then, though we get enough water, it won't be sufficient for a whole day. So we provide the water according to the timing. Morning 1 hour, then lunchtime 1 hour, and during dinner time 1 hour.
The shortage is acute, especially for these students who are staying in the hostel. More than 450 students are living in the hostel.
Most of the time when we have to wash our clothes and take bath, there is no water. So sometimes we have to eat without washing our plates and wear our school uniform without washing.
Class miss chabe ani zum kola chuni ti anzum time si misuse pe
chumi ta ani kola chuni dan tele sa nimna dawlo ani chutuni gi jisu kangal themen.
People living nearby the school are also facing acute water shortage. Water distributed once in a day is stored for cooking and washing. If not, they have to drive several kilometers away from the village to fetch water.
Water shortage is causing us many problems. We cannot do anything without water. It takes several hours to fetch water from other places.
A water supply project is, however, underway in the Gewog. Once complete, the 15-kilometer water supply project is expected to bring an end to the Gewog's long-time water crisis.
The water problem was there long time back. It still is a problem. We had no budget and the water sources dried up. Now we have received a budget from GNH Commission and a water supply project is underway. So it will solve the problem.
For now, until they can find other alternatives to get more water, all they can hope is for the winter to end. Hishitoki, BBS News, Gangneung.
Construction of a motorable bridge over Dangmichu in Panbang Dungkak in Shemgang was supposed to be finished by July 2011. The bridge is yet to be completed even after the contractor was given 2 extensions.
Panbang Dungkak has 4 geoks, Koshing, Jokha, Nangla and Pankar. Koshing, Jokha and Pankar geoks along with a few villages of Nangla geok are located on the other side of the Dangmichu. In the absence of a motorable bridge, life is difficult for the people living there. Mandarin is an important cash crop for the people in the geoks. People and ponies carry mandarin on their back and cross the river with the help of a suspension bridge. Shopkeepers are also faced with similar difficulties while transporting the goods, and it's no different for people coming to the Dungkak office as they have to walk for hours. People are complaining that the new bridge is never completing.
We have to pay people when they help us to carry the goods. If the bridge is completed quickly, it will benefit us a lot.
Not only Ngangla Gyok, people of Goshing Gyok also have to come from here. We have to carry goods on our back to Panbang, which is very difficult.
One of the reasons cited by the contractor for the delay is the difficulty in bringing the construction materials, as it has to be brought through the Indian Manas National Park. The contractor said the road from India to Panbang is small, because of which carrying huge equipment is difficult. Several strikes in the Indian state of Assam have also hampered works. Difficulty in getting Indian construction labour has also affected works.
So only 230 metric ton are to be erected. And there are many members, but they are very lighter. Easily we can erect. So our main target was to join the arts. That is very tedious work. So once arts join, then many members can be erected every day. So we can expect that within the next year, April, May, we can complete the works.
However, about 80% of the works have been completed so far. The bridge costing 151 million is expected to complete by May next year. Construction began in 2010. Compiled for Phuba, Ishori Gurung, BBS News, Gilifu.
The Jimling Bridge on the Gilifu-Sarpang highway is in a poor condition. The bridge was constructed in 1997.
The planks of the bridge have worn out and become loose as a result of hundreds of vehicles plying on it every day over the years. Every now and then, the Department of Roads deploy labourers to fix the planks that have become loose. Labourers quickly hammer a nail into the loose planks as soon as the vehicle movement stops. One can literally see the bridge swinging when a heavy vehicle carrying load passes over it. The bridge has a carrying capacity of 24 metric tons but has been reduced to 18 metric tons as it has become old. People expressed concern that sometimes excavators which weigh 20 metric tons forcefully ply over the bridge. But the concerns will soon be over with the new bridge coming up nearby. It will be complete by February next year, a month ahead of its deadline. The new bridge will have a carrying capacity of 40 metric tons. The width of the new bridge is 6.3 meters, which is more than double the width of the old bridge. This means 2 light vehicles can easily pass over the bridge at the same time. And this is how the new bridge will look once it is completed. It is one of the several bridges that the Japanese construction company Dai Nippon Construction is building in the country. The bridge is being constructed with funds from the Japanese government. Tashigang, BBS News, California.
Growing number of nightclubs and dryangs in the capital has led to various kinds of nuisances, especially at night hours. Cars honking and partygoers yelling loud at odd hours are some of them. This has left many residents living near these clubs agitated. Some of them said despite continuous complaints, there had been no action from the concerned authority so far.
Cars rushing, partygoers loitering around, some drunk and yelling along with the loud music playing from the car stereo. This is how the street looks at night, especially after the party hours. According to some of the residents there, over 50 people on average loiter around the area on party nights. They added that most of these partygoers are drunk and loud. With families living in the vicinity, they said it is causing inconveniences to the families. In August, a group of residents from the locality submitted a complaint letter to the concerned authority. Copies of the letter were also submitted to the Home Ministry and the police and the Bhutan Media Infocom Authority and Department of Trade. However, they said there had been no response so far. Currently, there are a total of about 12 dryings, 10 discotheques and 19 light music and karaoke bars in Thimphu. Pemasuki for BBS News.
Football enthusiasts in the country might soon be able to play football on an artificial grass surface. The laying of Bhutan's first astroturf at Chanlimithang Stadium in Thimphu began on Wednesday. It is expected to be complete by first week of December.
The first ever astroturf finally makes its way into the stadium. As the artificial grass surface is laid, experts check every detail. Once complete, there is no hassle of any paintwork on the field. It will be ready just for football matches. The artificial surface is manufactured in the Netherlands.
So here I think it's a perfect kind of grass to have here. Suitable for these conditions, it doesn't get that warm. Playing conditions are good. I think people will enjoy playing on it. It's not abrasive, it doesn't hurt. That's an advantage over the last generation grass.
The president of Bhutan Football Federation, Ugin Sechap Doji, said after the laying of artificial turf is complete, the ground will be certified by FIFA, and that will allow Bhutan Football Federation to host international matches.
The first and foremost is that we're going to host international qualifying matches, the AFC qualifying matches. We could even have the qualifying matches for league matches that take place regionally and internationally. So that is one plus point. The second one is that we're going to start the Bhutan National League.
And local matches can also be played after paying certain amount.
So we will charge a fee. Of course, it won't be very exorbitant. It won't be very high. We're hopeful that if people play at night and we have to use the light, then it'll be a little more expensive. We're trying to subsidize the cost for the youth and for schools so that they can play at a more affordable rate. But for private people who want to organize their own games and all that, that will charge a little higher. But like I said, not too high where it becomes too expensive for them to play.
The total cost of $900,000 for this turf and 2 other small artificial pitches at Changjiji and Chanlimithang was given by FIFA. Karmatsring, BBS News.
That's all we have for you this week. Join us next Friday as we bring you some of the best stories of the week. Thank you for joining us.